Wednesday 3.
We had Wednesday 1. He came from one of the toughest areas of Phoenix, most of his country, of course.
Praying for safety and
got people on the defense talking about it. You better get your ass football. You better get your ball.
I just gotta say, when it comes to Dallas,
Different.
for sure, and they would have thrown it off because
This guy gets on you.
I go to bed every night like, G-Man, I promise you that we got a special. What is up, Cowboys Nation? Your boy Mike Tag here. We got Greg in the house. We're going to have a plethora of guests. Kelly will be in. You know, it's a little early for him, so he's going to be popping in a few minutes. But we're going to get this schedule thing started. And you guys know it's already kind of most of it's already been out there. So I call this a schedule reaction show. So if you're new, make sure you hit that subscribe. Appreciate all the new subscribers. You guys only have like a couple months left. Get us up to 5,000. We are right at getting close to 4,100. So we're getting closer and closer. Get that 5,000 because I got a pair of club seats I'd love to give away to a Cowboys fan, and then hopefully in return they're going to take me with them. But if not, you can tell me to go to hell and keep them for yourself. But anyway, so hit that subscribe, hit that like. Greg, how are you? This is like the start, right, man? Now we know the schedule is out. The teams, we knew we're playing them, but now we know when we're playing them. We got the prime time. We got all that stuff. So how are you feeling? I know it's not official, but from all the leaks and everything, we got a pretty good idea what this schedule's about.
feeling real good. It's mojo time. Mojo time. Schedule's coming out. And, buddy, it is competitive. But we can get off on a good start. Everybody's healthy. Pray tell they get through training camp that way. New arrivals, pickings. I think we're going to look good.
Oh, absolutely. I'm pumped up. And you start the season, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it, Greg, but obviously it's out there. You're starting the season with the Eagles Thursday night, kicking off the NFL season. You know they need Dallas in there to help with the ratings because no one wants to see the Eagles. So you bring us into town. We slap them around a little bit. We leave with a victory, lead the fans home crying like they should. And that's the way to start the NFL season. How do you think it's going to play out? Do you think it's going to work out like that?
I hope it does. We're going up there in good weather. It won't be in the middle of winter. So it's going to be good weather, even keel, warm body, warm blood, everybody ready to run the ball, everybody ready to catch the ball, and Turpin ready to slip through for some touchdowns. We're going to get a better chance of playing Philadelphia that first game this season with everybody on the team, new draft picks, another wide receiver, Dak back. Man, Philly knows we coming fully loaded, so they better be ready. It ain't going to be a pushover for them. And if we pull one out that first game in Philly, it's going to look real good for us in that stretch.
Absolutely. I'm just waiting for the official announcement for the schedule. I'm looking at my app with my season tickets to see if they threw them all on there because I think we know it, but so I'll be peeking at my phone just to make sure before we officially announce all of it. I know some of you guys are wondering, what's the tailgate going to be? When's that third annual tailgate? I will release it in due time. We need all the family here to be able to release it. I think we got a couple options, maybe 2 or 3 options, but we're nailing it down. We just had some meetings. Kelly and I were in some heated meetings with a lot of people. So hopefully it'll be the date that works out for everybody. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll be announcing that soon. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But looking at the likelihood of the schedule, let's just go off. It's not official yet. We're still waiting, but it looks like we're going to have some division games early, which means you're not going to play them late. I'm not a huge division guys early fan. I like to usually get the division games starting about week 4, week 5, get a few games in because no one plays preseason anymore. So that first game it's really, it's usually not a really clean game. There's a lot of kind of working through the motions and getting the rust out. But what's your thoughts of Cowboys, Eagles week 1, and then you got the Giants at home week 2?
I don't have a problem with that. Get them out the way. Let's go ahead and get that first game out the way with both of them. And we're playing at home. Well, we're not. I don't know if we're playing at home or not. I got to see. But
Giants should be home. Giants should be home.
Well, get the Giants early before they can get everybody acclimated to the team, those new players, beat up on their quarterback quick, and take that win, get that Philly win, and then move the stretch down and look for Washington a few games later. But I don't have a problem with us getting them early, because that way we know where we stand in the division and what we got to do in the next game. But get those games done early. And I think New York would be great for the pickings in that early game.
Yeah, I think EJ Savage, my man, make sure if you guys ain't subscribed to Boys in the Zone, make sure you go check it out. EJ hadn't been on the show in too long. I mean, we got to get back in the groove. We've been slacking this offseason. They wanted, and this is one of the big things, they wanted to get that Hurts-Dak matchup, because how many times has Dak missed a game or that Hurts missed a game? I mean, they've only played each other, I think, 3 times head-to-head. Dak is 2-1 for the record. So that it makes sense. And then I'm looking at the Eagles' schedule, and if you're looking at the home games, that's their most attractive home game. I mean, you could look at Lions. I think they had them at home, but Commanders obviously at home. But that Dallas game, I mean, it really kind of gets that NFL season started right. So it makes sense. But then Philly is going back to – they're going to be going – against the Chiefs week 2. So Philly, they got a tough stretch first 2 games.
And they better not be thinking about the Chiefs and looking past us, because the NFL really wants this game because they know we're healthy. They know we got these big recruits. They know we got a running back now. They know we got Pickens. We're prime time, and they know this would be the best game to put in that first game with both teams fully loaded. And then Eagles coming off a Super Bowl win, playing at home their first game against the Dallas Cowboys, and fully ready Dak. So it should be one hell of a game. It really should.
No, I'm pumped up for it. I didn't think he'd be showing up. We got Jimmy in the house.
Hey,
the Knicks are on.
Yes, Greg, how's it going? No, I'm going to be quick. I'm here in spirit, but like Mike Tag said, it's exciting. We got the announcement for the schedule, but I got the Knicks on my main, TV. And then, of course, during the commercials, I got Toronto and Florida, and then professional wrestling's on at 8 o'clock. So
you don't know what the hell to do, Jimmy.
I'm telling you, man. So, but no, I was listening to you guys earlier. It is exciting. It's fun stuff. And so you got the Giants week 2. That's easy dubs right there, man.
Yeah.
I know that's an option for the tailgate. And you guys, give me your thoughts, man. This is a family affair. What game do you want the tailgate right now? These are the 3 options. You got the Giants, you got the Packers, and you got the Commanders. And those are kind of the first 3 home games. So it's got to be one of those 3. The Commanders, I think, is like week 7 from all points. So that's a little late for me. But what do you guys want to see? The Packers, rumor is Sunday night. It's supposed to be a Sunday night game, which is going to make it hotter.
That's tough.
Yeah. So what do you guys think in the chat? Let us know as well. But Jimmy, I mean, what's your thoughts on the tailgate? Do you go for that easy dub, like you said? Or, hey, we want to get the Packers. That's one of our biggest rivals. Let's, go big or go home. Let's get this thing hype and go for them Packers.
It's that 4:15, that 4. Well, in Dallas, it's 3:50. You want that 3:30 game, 3:15. That's my opinion. Right. Yeah. And then you kind of backdoor it in. If you can get the Packers, that would be a home run. Right. Because that's going to be a good matchup. The Giants, that's easy dub.
The Giants are going to be, I don't know if anyone has the official, but I'm 90% sure that's going to be a 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock game Dallas time. Yeah. So that'll eliminate that, because the Eagles and Chiefs are the Fox game, which means that's going to be the 4 o'clock game. There's no doubt about it. That's going to be the 4 o'clock Eastern.
Make no mistake about it.
Make no mistake. And so that probably puts the Cowboys at a noon game, which we definitely don't want. What do we got, Jimmy? We got a super chat.
Aloha, Mark.
Oh my God, Mark! I don't know what's going on. I do like the blue pick, but I don't want. But I hear he won't start. He's not going to be. They're doing running back by committee, which I appreciate. I couldn't see it, Jimmy. You took it off. You know my eyes aren't.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that's right. I forgot his eyesight's
Our
good.
so-called starters are very mediocre. We need a running back that the D's have to account for. I'm telling you what, my man, do not sleep on Maffa. Do not sleep on Javonte Williams. And Blue is your home run hitter. I'm telling you, I like our running backs and I like our line. I think we will be running the football, and I think that's a given. So
yeah, I like that. I
yeah.
like that. I'm leaning towards that Washington game because I want some get back again on those
Exactly.
Commanders. Yeah, and I think that I don't know what time that game is, but that'll be the perfect game to go to. The Green Bay will be a good game too. Green Bay will be a good game, but it depends on what time they're playing.
It sounds like it's going to be. It sounds like it's going to be Sunday night. It sounds like it's going to be Sunday night. And I'll put this up there. I mean, hopefully I'm right. This is what I saw, and that's the Packers. The only problem I have with the Commanders is it's week 7. But if you're looking at the schedule, they got the Jets on the road, they got the Panthers on the road. That's some winnable games. So their record could be pretty decent going into week 7. So you could stretch it out and say, all right, let's get it in the middle of the season, more towards the middle of the season. But God forbid if things don't work out the way they want, I don't want the only people at the tailgate being me, Jimmy, and Greg hanging out. You know what I'm saying? That's going to make it very hard.
We'll make the most of it, but we want a big crowd.
Yeah.
We want to hang all day, then hang a little longer.
Yeah.
So hey, listen, guys. So again,
the difference. And wait, Jimmy? What do you think? Because I know I got to ask you this because you might be in favor of week 7. You know how hot it was at the last one. Week 7 is October 12th. Might be a little cooler.
October 12th. Oh gosh! All right, so look it. I hate to jam out. I gotta watch the Knicks.
Give us an update.
Greg, I'll talk to you soon. Mike Tag, I'll talk to you later.
Give me that update, Jimmy. What's the score, Jimmy?
Knicks. Right, well, when I came down, we were up 36-32. So that was 5 minutes ago.
Finish him.
See ya. Finish him.
Take care. All right. Jimmy is out. It was definitely good to catch up with Jimmy, get this thing right. So, so that's the dilemma that we're in, right? So do we wait? October's the weather's going to be a little bit better. There'll be more into the season, but I'm seeing a lot of Packers. Am I seeing anyone who wants the tailgate to be the Commanders? I mean, that's a rival. I would argue probably our biggest rival within our division, I would say.
I think that Packers game, because we need some get back for that playoff game. And that would be the perfect game to set the tone for the rest of the schedule and the season. If we can put a little damage on Green Bay at home and erase some of the memory of that catastrophic loss in the playoffs. And that's going to be, and that, believe me, that the build up to that game is going to be enormous.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And I'm going to be on Washington radio tomorrow morning on their ESPN radio talking about the Cowboys. I made a couple bold statements last year. I had to eat my words. I don't plan on eating my words this time. Cowboys, if they're healthy, I think they're better than Washington. Makes no mistake. I got no doubt in my mind. We got more of the Packers game. The Packers are the only one that can't make. Andrew can't make. Oh, my goodness. So that's the other dilemma that we have is I've gotten messages from some people, and they're like, hey, I can't make this game. Can you make it that one? Hey, I can't make that game. Can you make it this one?
Yep.
And I mean, we can't control it. I mean, hopefully most of you guys are going to be able to make it. We just got to go with what works out best for the schedule and really for us traveling and things like that. So it's more than likely going to be one of those three. But let me ask you in the chat, and let me ask you guys you, Greg, I got to wait for the other guys, is what are the key games? I mean, you see in the schedule come across the board. This is pretty much, I believe, what the schedule is going to be. Hopefully I didn't do anything wrong. What are the key games or the key game that you're circling to say, this is the test or this is where they should be at this game. I expect us to be here. I mean, which ones are you looking at?
2 games, the Broncos and then Philly, that second game, because Philly is the barometer for us. We beat Philly. It's going to say a whole lot about our team and the culture of our team and where we are and how we beat Philly. So we beat Philly. I think we can have a commanding presence in the NFC East. And that Broncos game out at Denver is going to be a slugfest. It's most definitely going to be a slugfest. And we need to prove ourselves out there in that weather, out in Denver, against those Broncos. And that right there will show whether we got players out there that's ready to go and grind and take people out, because that's going to be that game. By the time we get to Denver, I don't know what the record would be, but by the time we get to that Denver game, that 8th game, it's going to start showing the course of our schedule and what we look like in the rankings of the NFC East and whether we're holding our ground or not, because that is going to be one of the biggest games and hardest games to endure when we go out there.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the schedule's official. I got my tickets. You guys can see your boy's got his tickets. Packers 100% Sunday Night Football. Giants 12 o'clock game. So we're going to have to X that one out. Commanders 325. That one looks good. Cardinals Monday Night Football in November. Eagles Sunday afternoon game at Cowboys. Chiefs Thanksgiving, and Vikings Sunday night game. Chargers 1 o'clock game on a Sunday, or 12 o'clock game on a Sunday, Cowboys time. Boy, I feel bad for the Chargers on that one. That is December 21st. That's so. It looks like it's going to have to be the Packers or Commanders, and we're going to have to figure this out as a family and come up to a decision. I'm doing good stall tactics, waiting on Kelly, but I'm trying to stall it out before we officially announce it. But looking at that home schedule, and you're talking about key games, the key game for me is going to be the Green Bay, because here's the deal. The Eagles, you're on the road. I mean, let's just be fair about it. You're on the road. It's going to be kickoff to the season. They're going to be pumped. The home team during this little stretch they did with the Super Bowl champion host in the first game, 13-5. I mean, they win a majority of the games. Then you've got the Giants, which they should win. They should beat the Bears. They're better than both of those teams. The Packers are at home. We got embarrassed by them in the playoffs. This is a game that people are going to say Dallas may or may not win. Some people will probably say they can't win. This is the game that sets the tone for the season, because you're at home. You need to win your home games, and you need to beat good teams at home. That's been the Achilles heel. I mean, if we're being honest, one of the Achilles heels with the Cowboys in recent years is they beat up on bad to average teams, but they struggle against the top teams. And the Packers are going to be one of the top teams in the NFC. That's the game that's going to tell us a story. The Eagles game, I don't want to minimize it. I think we should win. I want to win. If they lose, it's not going to be the end of the world, because it's all about holding home field advantage. We should be able to beat them when they come to our house. Right, Greg? Does that make sense? The Packers, if they lay an egg against the Packers, the conversation is going to be, here we go again.
Yeah. Yes. The Packers game is going to be a litmus test, because it'll be week 4. It'll be the strongest opponent other than Philadelphia, the first game. The first game, if we lose it, and if we play it good, we lose it close, well, sometimes that's the way it rolls when you play the first game against the home team. But it really doesn't matter on the schedule in a sense, because it's just one game. It's one game. It might be one loss. It determines how we play that game. If we lose it, how we lose it is the word. But the Packers game, yes, it will be a true litmus test of where the team is. The Philadelphia game first, how we play it, how we look, and then the Giants and the Bears. I wouldn't say automatically count the Bears out, but the Giants and the Bears, we should get through that. But the Packers game is going to set the standard on what we do for the rest, how hard we play for the rest of the season. And again, going through the Jets, Carolina, we should win those games. Washington, we should win that at home. Denver will be a test. It'll be a punch in the mouth type test. And
Hey,
then
Greg,
the Cardinals.
you're old school. We haven't beat the Denver Broncos since 1992.
But we got a good opportunity to beat them. I mean, they got.
What I'm saying is, there's something about that. I'm just agreeing with you. I don't like people are going to look at Denver and say, "Oh, well, it's Denver." Denver, at their worst, and us at our best, beat the hell out of us. I was there to witness it. Teddy Bridgewater lit us up, a 12-5 Cowboys team. You know what I mean? I think that was the year we're 12-5. They absolutely annihilated us. So the Cowboys, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is with Denver, they can't beat them. I don't know why, but they're going to have to beat them. They're going to have to beat them. That's a big test.
And then we lost to him in Dallas against Peyton Manning, and that was a good game. It was back and forth, but that was Peyton Manning. But that game, the Green Bay is going to be a litmus test. But that Denver Broncos game, some people are going to look at it like, well, Dallas should go to Denver. I'm telling you, that is going to be a punch in the mouth, bloody, beat up game against Denver Broncos. It's going to be hard fought. And if we pull that one out, how we pull it out, it looks good for the next game. And then we got the bye, and then we go to Vegas to play the Raiders. And I don't know what the Raiders are going to look like. So the first part of our schedule looks like we'll be past 500, maybe like 700 in that first part of the schedule. But that Green Bay litmus test is going to determine what the culture has come to on our team and how together they play and how hard they play. And if they go in there with a vengeance on Green Bay, it's going to be hard for those next three teams to even match up with us.
Yeah, and looking at the schedule, great point. Let me give my man DJ some love on that. We really, we play Chicago early. There goes, that weather there. We play the Eagles early, so we don't have to worry about that bad, cold weather. Our cold weather games are going to be against the Commanders and against the Giants, two teams that, we know very well. Dak
Denver.
is well. Denver, do you think it'll be cold then? Because it's like November.
I've been to Denver. Denver starts to
I'm talking about freezing cold.
No, not freezing cold, but Denver gets cold. Denver gets cold in November, but not freezing cold. No, it'll be an outside game.
Bad weather, those December games, games. Like I went to Chicago Sunday night. It's the coldest game in Bear history. It was -7 degrees. The wind chill was negative. I don't know how much. I froze my ass off. That's all I know. And we got the crap beat out of us. No one wanted to be there. That was the only good thing is we got the crap beat out of us, but it was so cold that nobody gave me any shit because they were freezing. So so there really was no talking or screaming amongst fans. So it was very quiet. But that's one of those things that I think can be an advantage for the Cowboys. So
and by the time we get to the end of the schedule, those last two games, hopefully those last two games won't be real big determining factors on whether we go to the playoffs or win a division. And it should be more of a factor for one of those other teams, if they win, to try to keep up and try to sneak into the playoffs, because both of those games are outdoors in cold weather. So hopefully those two last games aren't games that we just have to have in order to get in the playoffs or win the division, because those two games are going to be rough, because those two teams, depending on where they are, especially Washington, they're going to be trying to play lights out to get into something. Giants, I don't want to say the Giants are a complete fraud this year, but I just don't think the Giants are going to be able to put all that stuff together this year to make it a winning team. I think it's going to be it's going to be a somebody just building something that's going to take maybe 2-3 years for them to get really competitive. So the Giants, for everybody in our division, the Giants should be 2 wins. It should be. Because everybody around them is practically going to be new. So, but we can't take them lightly, because, even in the NFL, these guys have a tendency of taking certain games lightly, and they know better from history, but something in their psyche tells them not to play their best game because the next person is, but the next person is thinking the same thing, so nobody's playing their best game. And the games we should win, we need to win. The games we should win, we need to win.
That's the key, and that's what I'm talking about. They have got to get off to a fast start. Giants, at Bears, at Jets, at Panthers, you mix in the Packers at home. I understand that. But these 4 games early in the season, and then you have Eagles to start, you sandwich the Packers in there. And I know they're road games, and road games are tough, but the Cowboys on paper are better than all 4 of these teams. They have got to win these games. They can't stumble against the Jets. They can't stumble against the Panthers. The Bears are going to be better. I mean, the Bears are going to be better. But the Cowboys are a better team than the Bears. They should beat them. They need to win these 4 because the Eagles on the road is not going to be that. It's not going to be easy. I mean,
no, that's definitely going to be
not going to be easy.
Not
Packers at home. It's not going to be easy.
Nope.
I mean, they got to beat good teams at home, so they should win. But it's not going to be easy. And to your point, you cannot allow teams that aren't as good as you to beat you. And that's been some of the problems sometimes with the Cowboys too. They always have that one F-up game where, remember that Cardinals game?
I remember that Cardinals game.
Saints game in week 2 last year, week 2 or 3, whatever it was, week 2, I think it was, that absolutely just set the tone for the season in the wrong direction. After coming off a really good win against Cleveland, which had a formidable defense, and we went in there and it looked good. So that's the thing with the Cowboys is they've got to get off to a fast start. I don't know. You agree with me, Greg, or disagree?
Yeah, I do. And our running game in that first game against the Eagles, our running game is going to determine whether we'll be a dual weapon offense or if we're going to have to rely on the passing game a lot. But with the running back by committee and the running backs we have, who are definitely going to go out there trying to prove a point because they all want to be starters. They're going to go out there and they play their butt off. We run that ball against Philadelphia. Everything else is open. And Barkley is going to be our biggest nemesis on the offense because if you play back on Barkley because you're trying to cover Devontae and Brown, Barkley's going to get all the yards. And Philly wants to do nothing more than run the ball all night. They'd rather run the ball all night. So
well, and the thing too, they're going to run it, and they're going to be, probably healthy, right? Week 1, no one plays in preseason. So it's not like, I always say it's not who you play, it's when you play them.
Yes.
And, they're playing we're going to play a fully loaded, if, God forbid, no injuries. We don't want any injuries on any side, but you're going to play a fully loaded Eagles team. And the Eagles are going to play a fully loaded Cowboys team. But the Cowboys have some new pieces. And I saw a comment about, the new offense and defensive, but we run pretty much the same. I mean, Shoddy, he's going to put his own wrinkles on it, and he's going to add his own flavor. And Eberflus is, he's been around the block, great defensive coordinator. But, don't forget, Eberflus, he was on the same staff with Sirianni in the Colts. So they do know each other. Eberflus knows Sirianni knows Eberflus. So you will see some of that as well.
Well, and listening to my cousin Dexter, who we chat back and forth. He's a big Chicago Bears fan. He's supposed to be coming to the house this year when we play again. But he's been saying that for the last 5-6 years and never shows up. But he told me when we got Eberflus, first thing I said was, oh, man, why are we going to the garbage? But he told me, he said, Greg, I'm telling you, Eberflus is not a good head coach. He said, but you're going to love him as a defensive coach. He said he is not a joke. So we'll see. We'll see. And if he's that good on defense, then it's going to be one hell of a game against Philadelphia. And then that means we can just try to load up and stop Barkley and keep Barkley to a minimum. That way he has no choice but to throw the ball. And then we'll see what our backs and our defense can do. See what Eberflus can do that's different than what we had last year. And we'll be playing the Eagles healthy. Sam Williams will be back. So, we got a defense that's ready to contend and put Hurts out there on the perimeter and make him have to throw the ball and give us some INTs and some picks. But time will tell that first game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now, this is the fast start. This is where trouble's going to be. And these are 4 games in a row. But I would say 3 of these 4 at home. You've got the Eagles, then the Chiefs, at the Lions, and then the Vikings. So you got the Eagles on a Sunday, short week. That's a lot to ask, a short week, right, against the Chiefs. And then you've got the Lions, which is a Thursday, so it's a regular 7 stretch. Then you get what they call that little mini bye, and go against the Vikings at home on Sunday night. I believe that's a Sunday night football game. So the Cowboys, that 4-game stretch, I mean, what are you happy if they come out of that stretch? What would make you happy, and what would make you really concerned?
Well, before we even get to that stretch, when we get to the bye, I don't know where we're really at. That'll tell us.
Bye week is week 10, right? And then you play.
Yep. By the time we get to the bye, we should be in a hell of a good situation. If we're not in a good situation by week 10, by the bye, it's gonna be hell on wheels for the rest of those games. Because none of them are pushovers. Definitely none of them are pushovers, whether we play them at home or not. And Philadelphia and then the Chiefs back-to-back, that's going through 2 wrecking balls.
Yeah.
Two wrecking balls. So
I'm with Andrew here. I think if they split it, I'm pretty happy. 3-1, I'll be doing my Super Bowl dance. 1-3 or worse, that's a problem, because these are 3 of 4 games at home, but 3 of 4 good teams. Playoff teams. Now the Vikings, they don't have they don't have Bradford, so they're going with McCarthy. So you don't really know how he's going to be. I mean, but they got some killer receivers, and so that's going to be a problem. The Lions, I think there's a little bit of payback. We beat them. They kind of embarrassed us, an injured, depleted team. They ran it up and did some gimmick plays, and they had their way with us. So I think the Cowboys have got to circle that as a revenge game, and maybe time to put some, turnabout's fair play. Chiefs is going to be, that's going to be tough. The Eagles, rival game at home. So if there's 2 games, I think they should win, just based on if everyone's healthy. I think the Eagles and Vikings should be those wins. So to me, they gotta steal or take or whatever one of those middle games, Chiefs and Lions.
Yeah, and like I said, by the time we play that first game and we see what the culture looks like, because the first thing I'm looking for in the first game is what type of culture this team has evolved into, because you'll be able to see it on the sideline. You'll be able to see it, how they play on the field, how energetic they are talking to each other, and then what our running game is like. If our running game is giving us, obviously it's going to give us more than we had last year, but if our running game is giving us a good even kill to put some damage on some teams, I expect us to beat people like the Chiefs at home and beat Minnesota and the Chargers, because I want nothing less than us going out there with a different culture, kicking ass. That's what we need. We don't want 8-8 and or 9-8. I don't want to look for that to squeak in. I want to see a culture this year where the team is ready to play. Pickens is already trying to set the culture. I want to see him surrounded. I want to see Dak take charge. No more sitting on the sideline being passive, Dak. I want to see you pull a Starbuck. I want to see you pull an Aikman. I want to see you talking crap on the sideline, going up and down. And I want to see you on the field letting everybody know you're the commander in charge. That will tell me the culture has dramatically changed. And if it does, I want us to be a force to be reckoned with in the NFC East. Anything less than a force to be reckoned with in the NFC East means we're still mediocre ball. And I don't want that. I want a force to be reckoned. We got everything this year we need. We got everything we need. Cross our fingers that we get through training camp without all those injuries, because we had a lot of injuries and then injuries right off the bat. But we come out healthy. We got plenty wide receivers. We got plenty running backs. We got offensive line coverage deep. We got defensive line deep. We got edge rushers, linebackers. The culture is going to determine with Shotty and these new coaches how we come out. And I feel good about it because everybody's starting from ground zero now. And whether you were on the team last year or not, you're still playing for your job. You know you're playing for a new coach. So now you got to really step it up. It's not just coming in and playing complacent. You got a new coach. You got new culture. You got new players. You fill in the gaps that we needed. Everybody should be fired up to take control of that NFC East.
Yeah, 100%. And I would just say this, and I'll just Jamie. There we go. Iffy on the run. I'm just telling you, I love young running backs. I think the running backs they got. I think you got lightning in my boy Blue. I think Maffa. Don't sleep on him. I watched him at Clemson for 3 years. Tearing up the league, and he's a physical running back. He's a leader. He's going to be he's got a locker room guy. That's what they brought in too. So they brought in some captains. He was a captain of the Clemson team, which was obviously a great team in college football. Obviously Booker, they drafted in the first round, another team captain. That the interior of our offensive line is going to help the running game even more. And definitely, I watched him play at North Carolina. He's 24 years old. Javonte Williams. He's had some injuries. Hit the injury bug with Denver. But he is a physical running back. I mean, his last year in North Carolina, he ran for 7.4 yards a carry. He annihilated teams. So I feel good about the running game. I love youth. In the running game, we got all these guys that are young. So I'm not as concerned with the running game at all. The one thing that I'm concerned with is interior defensive line and then, the health of the cornerback. But I would say this, because you talked about culture. And I don't know if you saw this, Greg. It was went viral all over Twitter and Instagram and things like that. But did you see the Dallas Cowboy linemen, the Cowboys players at the Dallas Stars playoff game? Did you catch that? And BB took off his shirt and they're all screaming and yelling. It was that offensive line together, going out together, building that camaraderie, hanging out. That is the kind of stuff that's how culture's built, made, and they were having a good time. So I'm feeling good. Did you see Shoddy? They were at some golf outing or whatever they were doing, and you see him, kicking it with I think it was Parsons and Diggs joking up, and they were drinking, whatever they were doing. That's the kind of stuff that I see. And that's what I'm just telling you. The culture of this team has got to change. And it's just like what we talked about when we had some of these great Super Bowl champions on the Cowboys. What did they do? They held themselves more accountable than the coaches did. They were more worried about disappointing their teammate next to them than the coach and get yelled at by the coach. That's when that culture is what you want it to be. And I think you can see the building blocks of that with this team so far. And I think they're definitely headed in the right direction, but it's a process and they got to continue to get there.
And they'll meld up, they'll join together, and they'll meld that camaraderie together in training camp. That's where they're going to get together, and everybody's going to be, if you want to call it kumbaya in training camp, and continue that culture there. That's where it's going to grow. It's going to be nurtured. And by the time it comes out for game one, they should be ready. Because let me tell you, these young players want to prove themselves in the NFL, and they're wearing the star. I don't care. They just want to be in the NFL. But the fact that they're in the NFL and they get to play with the star on the side of their helmet, they're going to go out there like gangbusters. And they're going to go out there to try to prove to the world who they are. They're going to go in Philadelphia and try to prove to Philadelphia, look, this is what you were before we got here. But we're here. We're fresh. We're young. We want to prove ourselves. We got something to do out here. So these guys are going to be ready. I think that culture on the sideline is going to be totally different. And I cannot overemphasize how great it was that Shoddy put Micah next to Dak in the locker room. I cannot overemphasize how that is going to make a huge bonus and asset to the culture of the team by having that number one defensive player and the offensive captain side by side in the locker room. I can only imagine Micah sitting there talking to Dak about what he sees when they're out there on the field, and Dak talking to Micah about what he sees. And it's not just two defensive guys talking or two offensive guys talking. That's going to be tremendous to have them side by side.
Yeah, absolutely. Now he's here. It was earlier the release show, and maybe Kelly forgot about it. I don't know what the hell's going on. But my main man, Kelly K9, is here. How are you feeling? You saw the schedule. What was your first reaction? Frozen reaction. Where are you at, Kelly?
Some things I've been having to take care of. What's that?
You're a little choppy.
Oh,
there you go.
It's kind of freezing up.
You're freezing. You want to come back?
Yeah. Well, you know, I got brand new internet.
There we go. Well, kind of.
Yeah, hang on.
All right. Well, there we go. We're going to get him right back.
Yep.
He moved into his new crib. He probably didn't have everything set up properly. We didn't do a dry run, but anyway, we'll get Kelly back on because we got to get his thoughts. And I'm on pins and needles waiting to announce our tailgate party. We're 40 minutes in. Cuts was supposed to. He said, Mike, because I want to come on here. I want to break the news. And I don't even see Cuts. I don't know what the hell happened. Hopefully he's okay. But I want to make sure that we break the news. So as soon as he gets on, we'll get his comments, and then we'll get this thing rolling to let you guys know when the 3rd annual Cowboys Cave tailgate party will be taking place. And, you know, like what were you talking about before, Greg? I apologize before.
Talking about putting them in the locker room side by side. But I see
And
DJ Lane, let me tell you something. I would be more than willing to give a pregame speech out there at the Dallas Cowboys and put it on that Jumbotron. You talking about fired up, I'll probably float in the air after giving it to them. And those Cowboys, after they hear that, they got no choice but to go out there and give it all.
Yeah. Well, I expect this team to, like, they got to have a chip, a brick, a building on their shoulder, whatever you want to call it. They've got to come out us against them mentality. They've got to come out strong. And, you know, there's no better way to do it than going on the road against a divisional opponent that the fans don't like. They don't like the Cowboys. Make no mistake about it. We don't like them. So the feeling's mutual to go in there. Hey, they're going to hang their second banner, and you got to give them credit for it. They annihilated the Chiefs. They absolutely deserved it. That was probably one of the most dominating defensive performances I've seen in a Super Bowl. Maybe, I don't know, the Buccaneers, the Ravens, into that era. And it was phenomenal. But I think we got Kelly back on. Do we got Kelly? Is he there?
Yeah, you got me.
All right.
We got it clear now.
You look good and you sound good.
Well,
So how you feeling,
good.
man?
Look, I'm doing really good, and I'm glad the schedule's out. I heard Greg when I first came in. I heard him, and he was talking about Philly, and my ears perked up. It was like a perfect time to come in. He was talking about Philadelphia and getting Jack, man, because I'm already in midseason form when it comes to riling up these Philadelphia Eagle fans on Twitter. So, my favorite thing so far about the schedule is the fact that the Dallas Cowboys are they're in prime time, and I have people tell me, they said that, they're always in prime time, but I don't think that there would have been the marquee matchups that we are going to see this year without the addition of Pickens, in my opinion. And the reason why I say that is because I read an article saying that they typically wait a week to 2 weeks after the NFL draft before they set the schedules in stone, because they want to make sure, see if there's any trades. You can't tell me the schedule makers weren't in touch with Jerry saying, "You planning to make any moves, Jerry?" And Jerry says, "Listen, we got something cooking." They said, "You know what? We're going to wait a little bit because we want to get the marquee matchup, Philadelphia versus Dallas, Thursday night to open up the season." So you're playing the Super Bowl champs. You're playing the Super Bowl runners-up in Kansas City on another primetime slot in Thanksgiving. And then you're playing another on Christmas Day. You're playing the NFC championship game losers in the Washington Commanders. So you're playing some high caliber teams from the playoffs last year, all in primetime slots. And you know what? Look, I know the Eagles fans, and I know the KC fans, and I know the Washington fans. Their egos are pumped, and they're like, "Look, we're getting this." It's not because of you. It's because of the Dallas Cowboys. And we draw the numbers, and they know we're coming, and we're coming back this year with a vengeance. So I'm pumped up. I'm excited. I'm revigorated because of the George Pickens trade. I'm feeling great.
I love this, Kelly. See, now Carl, he said that Kelly is the only one on this show who makes any sense. So I gotta agree with Carl. I think you are making a lot of sense.
I'm making all the sense in the world. Carl liked me when I was down and negative and just trolling in the misery, you know. But now things have changed. I'm just letting you guys know things have changed for me because I had some people that called me out and they said, now you've been really negative, and I said, because I've been asking for them to do something for me and they didn't do shit. Look, it's not that I hated the draft. I just felt like we didn't get significantly better at a playmaking positions where there are playmakers. George Pickens is a playmaker. He's the kind of guy that I've been begging Jerry to make a move for, and finally wheeling and dealing Jerry got back out, took out the double barrel pistols and started firing. We got wheeling and dealing Jerry back in, and I love it. So George Pickens is a great addition to this team, great addition for Dak Prescott, great addition for I love it all around, man. There's no negativity from me at this point. The only thing, I guess, if I had one complaint, still would like to get a one tech. You give me a defensive tackle, one tech to play next to Osa, I'm gonna be fine. But for all the people, the Eagles fans, it's funny that they want to dismiss Pickens. Listen, the guy is a guaranteed 1,000 yards receiver with some of the most trash quarterbacks that have played the game. Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, Trubisky, Russell Wilson. Those have been this guy's quarterback. Russell Wilson was the best one he had, and that's not saying much because he was so shitty. Denver ran his ass out of town. George Pickens is a guy who is going to make big plays. Somebody called him a 50-50 ball receiver, and I seen somebody else, I forgot who it was, I think maybe it was Bald, he said he's an 80-20 guy because that guy is going to go up and get the ball. If you just put it in his vicinity, he has some of the best hands in the NFL right now, and nothing anybody can say would change that. I've seen it. I thought that when he was in Pittsburgh. I said it all the time. Dude is a phenomenal talent. The fact that we get to pair him next to CeeDee Lamb, forget about it.
Yeah, I want to get your guys' take on some, but we got super chats. If you get a super chat, we got to push that to the front of the line because they help the tailgate party, which we're going to get into. Because as you guys know, a lot of the funds that we get through the channel and we get this, it all goes towards the tailgate party and all that kind of stuff. So it definitely appreciate it. Chris, he said, "What's up, boys? I think Dak will eat with both CD and Pickens lined up on each side, but I still need to see big improvements in the run game and run D." I have no argument with the run D. I think our run offense, you're going to see big improvements. It's going to be running back by committee, like I said. Maybe they don't have the Derrick Henry, but they got thunder and lightning, and they got another thunder with Maffa. And I'm just telling you, Javonte Williams, I'll say it one more time, don't sleep on him. Blue can take it to the house. But appreciate the love, Chris. So there's a reason Pickens, what was that? Did you put it up there? You want to?
Yep.
The reason Pickens is excited to play with 4 in a contract year, that gets people paid. He's going to eat. So let me ask you this, Kelly, and then Greg. The big talk is Pickens, is he in trouble? Is there attitude? Is there this? My 2 cents on it is he's exactly what the doctor ordered for this team because I don't think this team has enough dogs. I don't think they have enough guys. It's got to be controlled. I don't want to see 15-yard penalties and things like that. But Jimmy Johnson never, I'm a Miami Hurricane. Greg, you're a Hurricane. He never swayed from some guys that got some swag and got some attitude as if it's channeled in the right way. And I think Pickens, it's going to be up to the leaders of this team and Dak and Micah, channel it in the right way. But I think he can be infectious to the whole team and the whole offense and even on the defense. Kelly, what's your thoughts? Do you buy into Pickens is going to be too much trouble for the Cowboys to handle?
I do not because, I feel like that a lot of people think about how much that word got thrown around about Dez Bryant. But when you talk to the people in the locker room, you hear anything from the locker room, whenever they would talk to Dez's teammates, they said he was the ultimate teammate. They loved Dez Bryant. Now there's been some negative things said about, Pickens, being a little bit demonstrative on the field, but every single one of his teammates loved him. There was not a bad word said about Pickens by any one of his teammates. The one thing that I would say, if there was one thing that's concerned me a little bit, is that he got fined, I think, a little over $200,000 last year for being late to team meetings and stuff like that. But look, here's the thing. I think Pickens was frustrated. I think he was beyond frustrated. There was no direction in the team. Mike Tomlin is the leader. He's the coach, but at some point you start to lose faith in it because they keep rolling out these bum ass quarterbacks. I mean, if you were a elite wide receiver, like how long are you going to sit there and say, look, man, I'm wasting away some of my prime years. I know I'm one of the best guys in the league, but you got Uncle Rico throwing me the goddamn ball. Like I need to give me a quarterback. So I mean, if you're Georgia Pickens and they tell you, hey, now Dak Prescott's your quarterback, you got to be jumping for joy. I got the Dak Prescott jersey on today. You got to be jumping for joy right now because say what you want about Dak Prescott in the postseason. When it comes to Dak Prescott as a passer, Dak Prescott is one of the best passers in the league. He is still a top 10 quarterback. You can't name me 9 quarterbacks better than Dak Prescott. You just can't. And people sit there and they harp on the postseason thing. That is a team stat. I will say, yes, Dak needs to play a little bit better in certain moments and when he's going up against some of these, these teams. But guess what? The entire team does. Yeah. But this is about Pickens. I'm not worried about Pickens being a problem in the locker room because we need a dog. We need somebody to be a little bit nasty. We need one of them guys. I remember last year I was cussing him out when he yanked, Lewis down for the face mask at the end, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, that was a shit move by Pickens, But you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. Let him do that to A.J. Brown. I'm going to be jumping off my couch and toasting some beers. Yank him down by his damn and show me some passion on that field. So I'm fine with Pickens. I like it.
No, good. Greg, let me just get one super chat. Yeah. He's the Bills. Pickens is a stud. He's been written up a dozen times as late. All that aside, he wants $25 to $30 million a year. Doesn't think JJ pays 1 year rental, 3rd round rental. They get a 3rd rounder if they don't keep him. I think they'll keep him if he has a good year. But I'll be honest with you. I don't give a shit about what happens next year. I'm worried about this year. And if he puts 100 yards this year, I'm happy. Go ahead.
Before I was just going to say real quick before I'm not cutting Greg off. I was just going to say when you said you don't care about this year, it reminded me of that Rocky. There is no tomorrow.
See, my brother's a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and this was just yesterday when I was in Birmingham. He was telling me, he said, yeah, but what y'all got to worry about Pickens' attitude. I said, Mike, this is where Pittsburgh went wrong. You got a guy in his first 2 seasons with Pittsburgh, helped him get to the playoffs. This guy is a dynamic wide receiver. The problem with Pittsburgh, and Kelly mentioned it, the problem with Pittsburgh, they had too many lame duck quarterbacks, and the offensive scheme was not set up to expose and utilize Pickens the way they should. And then when the quarterback did try to throw to him, he was throwing picks, he was throwing bad balls. And when Pickens got an attitude on the field with other players, it was because he was already totally frustrated with what his team was doing and the lack of offensive prowess and quarterbacks. So when he did get the ball and he wanted to show out, he showed out on the field. And if there was a defensive player challenged him or it was a certain tackle he got in, he going to push him. He did something stupid. The man was glad to finally get the ball and show people what he can do. All the frustration from what the team wasn't doing in the quarterback position to exploit what his talents, that came out. But now with the Cowboys, he's got Dak. Dak is not a third wheel quarterback. Dak is a solid quarterback. He's a starter. He don't have to worry about that revolving door of quarterbacks. Let's try this one this week. He knows Dak is going to be prepared. He knows he's going on a team that already has a star wide receiver, and the mindset for everybody on that team is we're going to pass that ball around because we want to win. See, where Pittsburgh went wrong by getting rid of Pickens so they can have bookends with Metcalf, and I think they did it because they realized we don't know who we're going to have a quarterback again. And if we go draft a quarterback and this doesn't work out with Rodgers, we're stuck at the same situation. And if Rodgers comes in and he can't play up to the potential we want, we're going to be stuck at the same situation, and we're going to make Pickens even more frustrated. So they figured, let's get rid of Pickens. That way, we don't have to deal with that, because right now our biggest mistake is we don't know who the hell we're going to put back there as quarterback. So that means Pickens going to have to deal with the same BS again, probably, and then we're going to have a problem on the sidelines that's going to be a cancer on the team. So let's get rid of him and then decide what we're going to do a quarterback, and we'll go find a wide receiver to put in there. But remember, everybody was laughing at me when I said Jerry Jones got some secret code thing going on, and I'm telling you, I think it's going to be a blockbuster. Everybody said, oh, yeah. Then we came out with Pickens. That's what it was. And Pickens already said he wants to help change the culture. He said he's positive. He said he's humble. He's humble to be on the Cowboys. He wants to wear that star. He can't wait to meet Dak. He can't wait to get on his team. He knows the team has what it takes, and he's ready to get in and do his job. And you watch, you're going to see a more disciplined Pickens, a more happy and aggressive Pickens while catching the ball, because he doesn't have to worry about which quarterback is coming off the revolving wheel this time and what offensive coordinator is scheming to do everything else but throw to Pickens, because they know this quarterback can't do it. So you watch and see.
Oh, I think 100%.
Yeah, I was one of them people. I didn't have any faith in it, Greg. I do owe you an apology. Jerry Jones did come through. Greg, you're a man of faith, and you had more faith than I. I did not think Jerry was doing anything. I thought that for sure that was and especially after the draft, because typically, you don't see a lot of trades when it's after the draft, because usually if something falls through then, the team's like, well, to hell with it. We'll just hold on to him. We didn't get anything from him, so let's just hold on. But I think Pittsburgh knew there was no way in hell Pickens was coming back next year, so they thought, you know what, we might as well go back to the board with Dallas and talk with him some more. But I will tell you this, based on the couple of guys that Dallas was talking about trading for, because I heard the other name was Rashad Bateman. I would have probably jumped off a balcony if they would have got him, because I'm sorry, he's not moving the needle. He doesn't. I mean, Pickens is electric though, man. You go and you watch his highlights, man, and it's pretty good. That dude's a dog, and so he's gonna be infectious on the locker room, and the way that he plays, with the passion that he plays, and with a little bit of dirtiness to him, man. I'm fine with that. I mean, you need a little bit of dirty, you need a little bit of nasty. Mike's always talking about it. We had Kevin Gogan on there, had some nasty to him, had a little bit of dirty to him. You want some of that from somebody. You can't have 53 choir boys out here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Dak Prescott is the lead example, and he's always doing things the right way, saying things. We need somebody that's gonna come out there and and throw some jabs in there. And so I'm pumped, man. I cannot wait to see week 1 him lining up across those two young DBs in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Here's the key. Here's the key to all of this big trade and everything. The key, and I mean
Make
key.
the key quick, because I've been waiting 47 minutes.
Is Dak coming out after his injury, playing way better than he played last year before the injury, and Dak is on point when it comes to spreading that ball among the receivers that are open and Turpin. That's the key. Where goes Dak this year goes the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, 100% agree. Now, we've been waiting to announce this tailgate, the 3rd annual tailgate party. I don't know if we're going to be able to top last year. Bullshit. We're going to top last year. It's going to be better. This was a tough choice. You had 3 games to choose from. You had 3 rivals to choose from. One of them was a 12 o'clock game. Can't do that. We don't want to do a 12 o'clock tailgate party. That ain't even worth it. So that leaves us 2 rivals. 2 of our biggest rivals, arguably our top 3 biggest rivals, and we're not playing the Steelers. So it comes down to the Commanders, and it comes down to the Packers. And we thought about it. We talked to Kelly, we talked to Cuts, we talked to Greg, we talked to Jimmy D, we talked to everybody. I called Doug, and we worked it all out. The Dallas Cowboys cave tailgate party, 3rd annual tailgate party is going to be Sunday Night Football. We're playing the Green Bay Packers. It's time for revenge. We're going to right the wrong of what happened in the playoffs, and we're going to get hyped. We're going to get ready. We're going to get drunk because it's Sunday night. More importantly, my son is just turning 21, and Kelly already told me, don't worry, Mike Tag. Uncle Kelly is taking care of that boy. We're going to give him a little baptism to this tailgate party and the way it is to run with the big boys. So it is going to happen. You guys book the tickets, get everything ready. We're going to be looking for people to help us out, hold the fort, because what did we have, Kelly? 3 spots? We might need 5 or 6 spots this year.
We continue to grow this thing. And what better way to grow the tailgate? What better way than to bring this thing home on Sunday night football versus the Green Bay Packers? Primetime Cowboys cave, primetime Cowboys. I'm talking about all 475 of you in the chat, except for you Eagles fans. Y'all can't come. This ain't y'all's game. All 475 of you in the chat, exclusive to Eagles fans. You better book your tickets. You better get your game tickets. You better get your livers ready. Start training them now. Get them in mid-season form because we're going to be drinking. We're going to be eating. We're going to be having a good time with Cowboys Nation. I can't wait, man. It's my favorite time.
When they get into the stadium, Kelly. That's my only thing I'm worried about. Sunday night.
It's a Sunday night game, so we gotta, people say you gotta pace yourself. So it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Yeah. But listen, we are gonna have a great time, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a blast. I tell you what, I've been having people reach out to me all off season. When's the tailgate? When's the tailgate? People have seen it. People see the pictures. They see the videos. When's the tailgate? We want to know when the tailgate is. Now you guys know. Now it's up to you to make sure that you get there because we're going to be there. Now, are you going to be there?
Yes.
Here we go.
This is a bucket list. I'll be honest. I've never seen the Cowboys and Packers play. This is the one game I've really wanted to see. And I'll be honest with you, I thought it was going to be later. I thought this was going to be like a week 10, week 11 game. And when I saw the scheduling coming out, I'm like, there was a couple weeks open. I said, man, the Packers, that could be week 4. And it would make it very intriguing and make it a tough choice. And then when I saw the Eagles are playing the Chiefs week 2, I'm like, well, shit, man, that is the Giants. We're going to be playing early because that'll be the 4:00 game. Obviously, Chiefs and Eagles. So it just made it better. And then I'm like, man, we can't wait till week 7 to get this party started. So this is the perfect time to do it. We'll be coming off the Bears and Panthers on the road. We better win those games, Kelly. We talked about that. We can't lose these games that we should win. So we should be coming in feeling good. And I cannot wait to see that Green Bay helmet and that Cowboys helmet collide. One of the greatest rivalries in all of sports and one of the Cowboys' greatest rivalries of all time.
Yep, it's going to be awesome. And going back to the Ice Bowl and all of that coming up to where we played them in the playoffs in Dallas. And each time Aaron Rodgers had our number, and then we got smashed. And now it's time to get the get back. So I'm telling you, this is going to be epic. It is going to be epic. And the Cowboys will win that game Sunday night. They will win that game. And now they can shake that monkey off their shoulder and move on to New York and put something on those Jets.
Yeah. And I think I saw it, and I don't know. I saw it somewhere, someone in the chat, Kelly talking about Dallas and the primetime games. I think this is the first time, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, in NFL history, a team has 4 Thursday night games in one season.
It's going to be rough.
Well, you know what was funny was that I heard somebody, there was some guy, I don't remember his name. I'll just say Jackass 1 because, who knows, but I'm sure he was on FS1. There was a guy and he was talking about the Cowboys and he said that he called the Chiefs every year. It's a gimmick with these guys. He called the Chiefs America's team. Oh, and there's a clip. I don't know if you saw it. It was just recently. It was a clip with Chris Collinsworth. And Chris Collinsworth said, we open up with the Dallas Cowboys Thursday night. He didn't say the Eagles. He said, we open with the Dallas Cowboys. And he said, if you gave us an option to have Dallas on NBC every week, we would take Dallas all 17 games if the NFL would let us. Don't tell me that it's not America's team. Don't tell me it's not America's team. You cannot take that moniker from us because we pull the best ratings all the time. Listen, I don't care what anybody says. And that's what Chris Collinsworth said. He said, it doesn't matter. They got 5 wins. They got 7 wins. They got 10 wins. It doesn't matter if they're good, if they're injured or whatever. He said, we want Dallas because people want to watch the Cowboys. They are pure entertainment anytime they're entertainment. So, I mean, it's no bigger franchise than the Dallas Cowboys, regardless of what the haters want to say. Be proud and embrace that, Cowboys Nation, that we are still America's team, and we're climbing back to glory now, baby. Let's get it.
Eight night games. 8 night games.
And we're the most visible team in the NFL and always has been. And remember last year, I kept saying the Chiefs are starting to show the chink in the armor. Remember I said they're showing the chink in the armor, and their days of declining are starting to happen. This was during the season. I was surprised they made the playoffs. I was, because I thought they weren't going to make it, because I saw the weakness. Every week I saw the decline start. And you know how some teams, they're always winning. And then when they get to that part to where they're no longer winning those championships, it's always that first year that people forget where the chink in the armor started to show itself. It's after they really start losing and they're out of it that people pay attention. But nobody remembers that first game they start losing, when the chink is in armor. Well, like I say, when the match was lit before the forest fire started. And the match was lit for the decline of the Kansas City Chiefs this past season. You saw it. It started to rupture. It started to come apart. And now you saw what happened to them in the Super Bowl. They got smashed. And that chink in the armor just blew away. So they're going to be primed for the pickings the whole season, let alone when they come to Dallas. I predict early we win that game.
Yeah, and also here's a little thing is I put my tickets up for sale. I didn't even think about Taylor Swift. They got the Swifties, so maybe that's why the tickets in my section are going for $1,500 each. So I couldn't look at myself in the mirror and say I'm not going to try and sell those tickets. So hopefully those tickets will help pay for a lot of that tailgate too. But yeah, so if I sell those tickets, if not, I'll end up going. But that Chiefs game, it's interesting because I think Chiefs are a team, as long as they got Patrick Mahomes. Yep. I mean, I don't know if you'd ever count him out, but there's some question marks there. I would not be surprised if the Cowboys beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, not at all. Not because that chink is starting to show itself, and you saw it. And man, so many teams last year had them on the ropes, and if it not for one lucky play or something, but it was more than that. You could just see it was discombobulating. I mean, something about the Chiefs just wasn't right last year. It just wasn't. And you saw it, and I said, this is the first year of their decline. They're going to start declining now. I doubt if they ever get back to another Super Bowl now. But I saw it, and I'm going to remember that first season, which was last season, that it started, that they're declining. Now, this is the season everybody's going to take the chance and jump on them because they're going to come out timid. They saw what happened to them in the Super Bowl. They're going to try to overcompensate for it and get better. And a lot of players have already been there and done that. So there's really no true motivation to go out there and try to win another one. Chiefs are going down this year.
I'm waiting for Kelly's not so fast, my friend. Because
I was just about to say I'm not buying on that wagon. I said, look, I mean, the Chiefs didn't have Rashee Rice last year in the Super Bowl. He was injured for the year. They got their rookie wide receiver really started coming on from last year. The kid from Texas. I'm struggling to think of his name right now, but he's a speedster. Him and Rashee Rice what's that?
Worthy.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice. Those are two really. You put those two receivers on the field. Worthy really started coming on towards the end. I'm not willing to sit there and take. It's basically like when the Patriots had Tom Brady. As long as Tom Brady was a quarterback there, the Patriots were competitive. And I think that the Kansas City Chiefs, I still think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, and I don't think there's even a close second, in my opinion. And as long as you got him, you got a chance to continue having some dominant streaks and some great teams. I think they still got some really good offensive weapons. I think when they're completely healthy, getting Rashee Rice back will be big for them because he's a good wide receiver. That's a pretty potent 1-2 punch. I think Kelsey's getting a little bit long in the tooth. I think that, they're going to have to start looking to maybe replace him. But I would say that I'm not counting the Chiefs out. I think the Chiefs are still going to be a playoff team. I think they still win the AFC West. And I think they'll still be one of the top teams in the AFC this year. Now, that being said, I do think that the Cowboys can compete. I'm not sitting there thinking that I say that would chalk that up as a loss. I think the Cowboys can go blow for blow with them. It's going to where rubber meets road with me and this team, this Cowboys team, is how good can this defense be, and how quickly can Eberflus come in and accelerate, the run stopping for this team, because that was the biggest Achilles heel last year, stopping the run. And it's going to be, it's going to be fun to watch the team and interesting to watch the team. It'll be the main thing. That'll be my main focus through training camp. It'll be my main focus through preseason is to see how this defense comes together and how Eberflus improves the run defense. Because listen, 29th in the league last year against the run. If they can get up to, if they can have their defense middle of the pack, 12 to 15 range, then I would say that would be a huge improvement. And I'd say it'd be good enough to make this defense respectable and, good enough to do some damage in the playoffs. If they don't get out of that 29 range and they're allowing 100 plus, 130 plus yards a game like they were last year, it's going to be hard to win because then you got teams that are just going to do what they did, like what Baltimore did, what the Eagles did when they played us. A lot of those teams that had really good run teams, Detroit when they played us, they're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball and they're going to keep our offense off the field. And then it makes it hard for you to kind of get into a rhythm offensively, even with those dynamic wide receivers. Either that or you're going to have to be worried about going blow for blow with a team that's just taking all the time off of the clock. So I worry about that with this Cowboys team still. But, I did switch around from saying I think it's an 8-win team to, George Pickens, I think, is good for another 4 wins with this offense. I think it gets us up to 12 wins. I see it's going 12 and 5.
Backflips if they won 12 games.
Yeah, but see, we had all those injuries last year. It was hard to evaluate where our team really was with so many people out. Now, obviously, the biggest limb fact was the fact we didn't have a running back. So we knew that was obvious. There was no running back. Well, on defense, you had a lot of people hurt. Offense, you had a lot of people hurt. So, and we still managed to get 7 games. Should have won 9 with those 2, with that Washington last minute. And then that punt we touched and we shouldn't have touched it. And then if we don't touch it, we beat Cincinnati. But now we got everybody back. We got some defensive hogs to plug some holes on defense through the draft. So I don't think anybody's going to gouge us like they did last year. And we got running backs. But I think we're going to be far more competitive. We got our players back from injury. So let's not forget, we had a host of injuries last year that decimated our team. So, of course, everybody can run overs, and we had no running back. So that made us look just totally catastrophic during the whole season. If we had everybody back last year and we didn't have those injuries, I think the season turns out much, much better, and we can stop the run better, even though Sam Williams got hurt. The Chiefs are going to struggle this year. Mark my word. They are not going to the Super Bowl. I'll be shocked if they win their division. They're always competitive with Mahomes, but they are going to struggle. Everybody's got their numbers now. They're starting to weaken. You watch. Everybody in Chief land, you think that was a fluke in the Super Bowl? No, it wasn't, because they were showing it all season long. They just barely got in the Super Bowl and they unraveled. They didn't do anything different. They just got their behinds whooped because the chink in the armor is starting to collapse. So they're going to struggle. I'm not counting on the Chiefs to do anything big this year. Yeah, they'll play good ball because they got Mahomes, but I don't expect them to win their division. People got their numbers now.
Who you got? I'm curious who you got winning that division.
I don't know who's going to win it out that division, but I don't see the Chiefs coming out outright winning that division. I just don't. The Chiefs are going to struggle. Just mark my word. They're going to struggle big time. That's why when they
we got the tape mark.
That's why when they come to Dallas, I said it today on May the 14th, when they come to Dallas, they're going to get whooped. Watch and see.
And Dallas is coming off a short week against Philadelphia. Don't minimize.
They're going to get whooped.
I'm not gonna make the prediction for that game just yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and just say since we're marking the tape, we'll mark the tape right here. I still got Kansas City winning the AFC West. I still think they're winning the West. I don't think anybody in the West is challenging KC. In fact, I actually expect them to be better offensively this year than they were last year, just because they'll actually, instead of having a rookie wide receiver as their number one, they're going to have Rashee Rice back. He missed almost the whole entire year. I think he only played like 3 weeks before he got injured. So, and when they did have him, they looked like a lot different team when they had him and Worthy on there. And Worthy really didn't start coming on until the end. And towards the end, they started figuring out. Andy Reid started scheming him a lot better. I think that offense is going to look better than what they did last year. It's just a matter of the defense, maybe.
Yeah, that's
because that defense didn't look great.
I get some love to David with the super chat, $10. Didn't really say anything. He just said, "Hey, let me throw you guys $10."
Just wanted to throw some money to the tailgate. He got hyped up.
It's toward the tailgate. We love it. And you know, our man Bugsy's kind of a Packers fan. So I do want to say that because I think it's important. People ask, hey, you know, who's invited? Who can come to the tailgate? Is it open door? I don't care who you're a fan of. If you're down for a good time, good, clean, fun of shit talking. I don't want no one crying if you get ragged on. If you're the only Packer guy, you're gonna get some hate. That's just the way it is. As long as you got a good sense of humor, it's all in fun, it's all in love. No one's looking, you know, it's a game. You guys are welcome. If you're gonna come out to the tailgate with the opposing colors and you want to sit there and talk shit and be disrespectful, and you know, there's gonna be a hell of a lot of Cowboy fans there. I can't help what could happen to you. So that's just the way it is. You know, go there and fun. We're gonna have a great time. Go there to be an asshole. I can't help what's going to happen. So is that fair to say, Kelly? Is that fair of our?
I think that is fair. I think that is fair to say. I mean, I actually have extended an invite to a Packer fan to come out there. She's a great Packer fan, and she has talked about going to a Packers Cowboys game. And I said, you know what, come on out, and you should come to the tailgate. So I invited a Packers fan. I didn't know we were going to have the tailgate there, but I just said, you know what, that's it. When they played the Packers, it was a game that I was eyeing already that I wanted to go to. So I said, you know what, come on out, and we'll, you know. And she's got a thing that she does on a podcast, wants to collab. So we're going to get that in the works too when the season goes on. Game week. That would be
a great one. And I know Dave talked about Vegas. There was a question about Vegas. I don't know. I'm not a big cross country guy. And you know, originally the plan was one of my road games was Denver. I don't know if that's going to be in the cards. My brother is a big Broncos fan, but he's afraid to fly. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not a huge Vegas guy, but I would love to go there. But anyway, so yeah. And Carl, you're welcome. Like I said, everybody's welcome. Now, if you're going to go run in your mouth, I mean, if you get a mud hole stomped in you, I can't help you there. But if you're there to have a good time and do some shit talking, you're more than welcome. We'd love you. So
don't let that liquid confidence.
Yeah, that's
Superman, and you start getting disrespectful, because then it's no longer fun. Disrespect is disrespect. You know, this is about camaraderie. Have a good time, respectfully. Agree to disagree, and just have a good time.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. And you don't need no one needs security with them if you're going to be respect. Because if you already said, "Hey, I need to bring security with me," then you shouldn't.
That's a red flag.
Yeah, you shouldn't come. You shouldn't.
And I will let you. And I'll just tell you right now, you're going to need to bring the National Guard if you plan on coming in there talking shit. You ain't gonna have enough security to save you, buddy. I can promise you.
No.
Carl, I think you're good shit, man. We bust your chops about the Eagles, you bust our chops about the Cowboys, but I'm just telling you right now, you wouldn't have enough security to get your ass out of there unscathed if you plan to come in there stirring the pot. Because there's some Cowboys fans that are diehard loyal, that we enjoy some good shit talk, but we got to, we keep this thing respectful. We're gonna give people shit, they're gonna give us shit, but at the end of the day, it's all about having fun, having a good time. We don't want to turn this thing into a WWE Royal Rumble here.
We're not going off the top. And that's the thing is, you know, when you go to an opposing stadium, if you go looking for trouble, you're going to find it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, just like I watched this video of at a hockey game. I don't know if you watched. It was kind of funny. The Florida Panthers and Toronto Maple Leafs. And everyone gave the Florida Panther guy trouble because they said he was the one who started it. But when you watch the video, they're walking, and a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, for no reason, just shoved this kid, a young kid, maybe 16 years old or something. And so then Florida Panther fans, I don't even know if they were related, but Florida Panther fans turned around, and now it's on, and the fight was on. That dude was asking for it, man. If you're looking for trouble in any game, trouble will find you, and that's just the way it is. So I always say, when I go to an opposing stadium, I'm gonna have fun, but I'm not gonna sit there and talk shit enough to where I now got to take on the whole section, because I'm probably you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. Yeah. So anyway, that's just being a good fan anyway. But like I said, when the Eagles, Kelly, you've been to an Eagle game. Have you been to an Eagle game with me or no? Have we met up in an Eagles game? Because I tell you, I've been to a few. They're great. We sat at Texas Live, sat on a bench, talked noise, talked smack. It was all respectful, and we had a great time. There's That's why I like, a lot of these Eagle fans, they want to talk tough, but then when they're on the opposing, they're all nice. Everyone was friendly. Everyone was good. So
Yeah.
You don't see, I maybe I'm missing, but you don't see too many fights in Arlington at the stadium between rival teams.
I've seen maybe one.
Yeah,
in all the games I've been there.
And the Cowboys fans,
you remember that
people hell, but they don't go out there and give them hell to the point where they pushed and start a fight, instigate a fight or nothing like that.
No.
We saw an actual brawl, and it was amongst Cowboys fans.
Yeah, that was the Cowboys fans fighting each other. That's right. I forgot about that.
It was a big old brawl. Yeah, well, they were holding down our spot for us, and we come back. There's a whole goddamn mariachi band out there, and fucking. It was crazy. Everything.
Full instruments, huge instruments, not trumpets. The stand-up bass, they had a whole band. It was great.
Yep, and everything was going good, and it was. I mean, people were having a good time. Chicks were twerking for chicken, and then next thing you know, there was a fight broke out. And this guy had his pants pulling down, and it was crazy. It was pure madness.
Among Cowboy fans.
Remember the tent? All of a sudden, you see the tent just kind of shaking all over the
place. Yep. They were moving some things around. It was pretty funny.
That's crazy.
Oh man, crazy. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but. Guys, there's 487 of you hanging out with us. We've been going for an hour and a half, and it's been a lot of fun. So, we can put a bow on this, but the tailgate is set. The schedule is out. I'm watching. I just want to see something because they're going through the Eagles' schedule. And this is interesting. They have the Eagles winning the first game. They have them losing the next three. They've got them winning. So right now they got them 5-3 going into the bye week. Let's just finish and see what they say. They got them beating Green Bay. They got them 6-3. Now they're going against the Lions. Give the Lions an L. They have them sweeping the Cowboys. I don't agree with that. 7-4. Now they got them going on a late season run, beating the Bears 8-4. So I mean, Kelly, do you see the Eagles sweeping the Cowboys? They haven't swept the Cowboys. Obviously, last year we didn't have a quarterback, but did they ever sweep them with Dak Prescott?
With the Dak Prescott, no. That has not happened, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to start next year.
Yeah. They got they finished them up at 11-6. And I would say 11-6. I think our schedule's tough, and you're pretty ballsy with 12 wins. I'm thinking in that 11. But I think we'll be a better team. I just think our schedule, man, and NFC East is just playing a brutal schedule. I think 11 wins. Division.
They got Philly late in the cold weather up in Buffalo.
I know, winning.
Buffalo winning. Man, he don't know what he's talking about.
It's all stuff. But Kelly, you were serious? You think this is a 12? You think the turnaround is a 12? This is a 12-win team?
Yeah, I think so, man. I thought the thing is from 8 to 12. I mean, it's going to be tough. They're going to have to come out and they're going to have to prove some things this year. But I mean, I like the. I'm starting to really, really come around on Schottenheimer. I've seen some things from him, interviews, just some of the ways that he's talking, the way that he's interacting with the players. There's just something about him, man. I think he's going to really bring this team together. And, one of the things that we talked about, we've done a lot of talking about it. And, Eugene Lockhart's talked about it. And, I've heard Teague mention it. A lot of Dallas Cowboys players have talked about the togetherness, right? Yeah. Being an actual team, not 53 individuals, being a team, being a family, right? Just that cohesiveness, hanging out together. And I don't know, man, I get that feeling that Schottenheimer is going to be the glue for this team to really kind of bring this thing together and to have this team playing for each other, not individual statistics, not for, to win an MVP or defensive player of the year, but to come into play together, man. And like I said, I've seen some things and it's starting to give me that feeling that Schottenheimer might just have been a guy that was slept on a little bit by a lot of people. And he may be coming to prove a lot of people wrong, because I think that, I just really like what I've been seeing with him, man. I really like what I've been seeing with him. I think the players like him a lot too.
Yeah,
I do
think,
too. But I was just gonna say, then Greg jump in, is the thing that, and this was, I'll get you to comment, Greg. It surprises me because I showed you guys. I bet $300 on the Cowboys over, and the over under for wins is 7.5.
Yeah.
And you know, with the George Pickens trade, I just went on just to kind of double check. Either people can make a shit ton of money, or Vegas knows something we don't, because they still have it at 7.5.
I saw it. Yeah, it did not change.
And I just can't believe it. So I don't know, Greg. What's your thoughts on Shoddy and Cowboys win?
First of all, I think they made a mistake when they put that out there like that, because they're looking at the people that were hurt. They're looking at Diggs coming back. They don't know what Diggs is going to be like. They don't know what Jerry's going to do. And I think they count on the fact that Jerry always does that sabotage effect every year and bumbles free agency and draft, or not the draft, but free agency, and bumbles that so bad that it makes it look like we're only going to win 7 games. But Jerry got it together this year for once in a long time. I see Cowboys winning 11. 11, no problem. Anything after that is gravy. 11, no problem. And the thing about Shoddy is, you got to look at, you had Mike McCarthy, old school, still had that old mentality, that vanilla type offensive coordinating. Shoddy sat back and watched. Shoddy's younger. Shoddy knows he can relate to the players. He's more relevant with the players than Mike McCarthy was. Even if Mike tried to be relative with the players, he doesn't know how. You know, he's an OG, and these young guys, and he doesn't follow their mix these days. Shoddy does. Shoddy's more close to them in that being relevant among the players. So that alone is going to shine with the players. They see that automatically. And then the things like he said by shaking up the locker room, putting Micah and Dak next together, that's the only two that he talked about, because they're the high luxury players. But he didn't mention what other players that he's shaking up in the locker room to put next to each other. And the culture that he's going to bring in there, he's not going to have to scream and yell and shout. And Mike McCarthy set back a lot, and he didn't get too involved with everybody. He let the coaches do what they had to do. But look at the coaches he brought on. He brought on old school coaches from his old school camp that he was putting together the year he was out. Shoddy's got a new blood in there. And all these coaches are more relatable to these players. And the schemes that he's talking about now, the setting these players up next to each other, buddy, before you even get to training camp, it's going to make a huge difference. Now, we have a serious competitive schedule this year, no doubt. But I have a lot of confidence in it because, number one, with the exception of Overshown, all of our injured players will be back. Pray tell, no injuries during training camp. And we got holes that we filled on the offense, so we're deep. We got holes we filled on the defense. Believe it or not, we got some big boys that we drafted to plug that hole, at least plug it, to force that running back to go outside or to another hole. We got, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Izaraku or whatever his name is. He likes to be
called Easy E.
He's another bookend for Micah on the edge rusher. So and then running back by committee, however you say it. Somebody's going to evolve out of that. Is going to be the lead dog, and the other ones are going to try to keep pace because they want to be the lead dog. So we have that dual threat offense and defense. So we got all the chips in the bowl this year. And even when we didn't, and we were decimated, it's been a long time since we've been that decimated like last year, and we still won 7 games, 2 games by 1 play that we should have won. And now we're probably in the playoffs. At least we're 9-7. So I'm telling you, with everybody there now, and we filled that running back position, we're deeper in the offense, so you don't have to have these guys playing musical chairs. We're deeper on the defense. I do have some questions about the DBs and where we're going to fill that, but we're deeper and we're better. And pray tell, nothing happens at training camp. This is the best team we want to have with this schedule. And the vulnerability I told you about the Chiefs, I tell you, because I think we take that game against the Chiefs and you look at the rest of the schedule, Minnesota moved away from Darnold, and the Lions moved away from their head coach and
coordinator.
I mean, not head coach, but coordinator.
Both coordinators.
Two people are gone from there. The Jets got Fields. They don't know what they're going to have. I'm telling you, man, even though this is a tough schedule, when you look at it on paper, these teams are primed for the picking for us. because of the transactions that these other teams had to make after the season, and we're getting all our players back. Even Sam Williams is coming back. That's going to be huge. Man,
Yeah, I think one thing. I think one thing I was going to say. I know that when you mentioned Minnesota moving on from Darnold, I think JJ McCarthy is going to be better than Darnold was last year. I think JJ McCarthy's actually pretty. I think he's going to be pretty good. I mean, he was tracking to be their starter in preseason before he got hurt. I mean, he was making
winning 14 games.
I with their offense that they got, I don't know if I'd see them winning 14. I think they still are. That's a playoff team though. I don't think they're falling off that much. I think JJ McCarthy is going to be a pretty good quarterback. And I mean, you just look around the landscape and all those other quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round last year. I mean, pretty much every single one of them was in the playoff, or not in the playoffs, but like was pretty damn good. You know, between whether it's Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Drake May. I mean, all those guys played very well for rookie quarterbacks. So I think JJ McCarthy is going to step right in line, and I just think that it helps when you got a guy like whether you got those two receivers, Addison and Justin Jefferson. Those are two really damn good receivers to right away, make life easy on a rookie quarterback. So I think he's still going to be able to get that team into the playoffs. But I mean, regardless, I think the Cowboys are going to have they'll be in the Cowboys will make the playoffs. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm not going to lock in 12, but I'm saying 11 or 12. I got to go down the schedule, and eventually I know Mike will go down and we'll do our deal like we always do, call the wins and the losses. But I think that, the thing is that when the Cowboys play these playoff teams in these prime position slots, I posted it today. It's time. It's put up or shut up, because when the Cowboys have played in the past, when they have played the better teams in the league, even in those 12-win years, it seems like when we went up against the top-tier competition, the Cowboys would come up short. And it's time to put that narrative to bed that we can't beat the good teams. And what better way to start it out than going into Philadelphia on Thursday Night Football and ruining their banner celebration by beating Philadelphia on the road? I mean, that would be a statement that would set the tone for the year. And I mean, the Cowboys got the opportunity to do it. Now all they got to do is go and take it.
Yeah, and
absolutely. And I just gonna say is we talked about that earlier. That's my thing, and that's why I pointed to I don't know when you came on, but the Packer game that's the point I'm looking at, because to your point is we've always had these teams, and whenever we played those big teams, especially at home, we laid an egg. And this is the time. They got the Packers. We got embarrassed 2 years ago. If they're not hyped up and they're not focused for this game, and we end up getting steamrolled or we end up losing, that's not a good sign for me moving forward. I mean, this team is going to start beating the top teams in the conference at home.
At home.
I know on the road is tough, right? I mean, on the road, I'll give you that. But you got to start beating these top teams at home, and that's been a problem. Well, I want to wrap up. David, go ahead. Well, let me just ask you one thing, and then we'll get final thoughts. Because David did do a super chat. He didn't ask a question, so maybe this is his question. What team in our division do you guys see either falls off or has a surprise year? And I'd maybe extend it to the NFC, because I know the NFC East is minimal, only 4 teams, and we're one of them. So hopefully we're not one of the ones on the falling off. But is there a team in the NFC that you're like, I think they're a playoff team, they're going to have a step back? Or is there a team that maybe didn't make the playoffs, or that was kind of, hanging around the rim, as Jerry likes to say, that you think, well, we'll make a big leap, and we'll leave the Cowboys out of it. We'll leave the Cowboys out of it. So.
I think that, to me, it's a lot of iffies, because a lot of transactions happen in the offseason with those coaches on those real good teams. And when those coaches leave, you got a whole different dynamic that comes in, and it doesn't pick up with the same schemes exactly like they had last year. Minnesota, you got Detroit, and all these teams. The only team I think may surprise some people positively may be the Cardinals, based on what they put on the field. The Cardinals, because the Cardinals are so bad, they got nowhere else to go but up. So if anybody's going to surprise somebody, maybe the Cardinals. But the rest of them, now Chicago may make a little bit bigger move this year if they protect Caleb, and that's what they went in the draft, to get people to protect him. But the rest of the teams, I mean, Detroit, they got two people that left, two major people that left on the coaching staff. Minnesota's bringing McCarthy back. Okay, we don't know what he's going to do. And Darnold had a fluke 14-win season, and these Minnesota Vikings were on fleek. So even though he plays good, I don't see him being a juggernaut. So I don't see a lot of NFC teams that I think are just going to go out and dominate. Philly is Philly until somebody knocks Philly off the block. But I just don't see it. That's why I say of all the season, and look at the 49ers. Who?
No one's even mentioned their names. It's weird. We've been on here for 2 hours and we haven't said the 49ers.
And then you got the Falcons, the Saints. Carr has retired, and you don't know what this new quarterback's going to be like. I mean, I just see an opportunity for the Cowboys to really make a statement in the NFC this year. Beat Green Bay, which I told you by the time they get to that game, that'll be the litmus test. That'll be the litmus test, game 4 for the Cowboys. But between Green Bay and Philly, those are going to be two huge games that determine everything. Our culture, Dak, our running game, our defense, all of that is going to be determined playing those two teams right there. Washington, everybody's seen Daniels. New York, I don't think New York even knows their identity yet. So I don't see any teams in the NFC that I can say, oh, I think that team's going to run away with it. But every year, somebody comes out of the dark that nobody sees coming. And the only team I can see getting better would maybe be the Cardinals.
All right. What do you think, Kelly? You got a team that you called the Washington Commanders last year. So what do you got this year's surprise team, and who do you think a playoff team that you think might be in trouble this year?
Yeah, so I think that who I've got is a team that was borderline playoff team this year that I think is going to make the playoffs, and this will probably make a certain guest on or not a guest, but a member of the Cowboys pretty happy. Is going to be Jimmy Dee, and that's the Atlanta Falcons. I think they're a playoff team this year. I could see that team winning probably 10 games, and I actually have them. I think that I know Tampa Bay was a team from the South last year. This year, I actually got Atlanta to win the NFC South. So I've got Atlanta to be that kind of surprise team. The team that I think is going to fall off, that's not going to duplicate the success that they had last year, even though I think that they'll still be good and I think they'll be a playoff team, but I think that they're going to be maybe a wild card team, maybe close to around 9 wins, is the Minnesota Vikings, because of the fact that they are going to be having a rookie quarterback. I do like J.J. McCarthy. I really do. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I think they still got playmakers all over that offense that makes things easier on a rookie quarterback. But I don't think Minnesota is going to have this duplicate that 14-win season. I think I put them in thinking around 9 wins. So, I mean, having 5 less wins, that's going to be a borderline, playoff team right there. But yeah, my team as far as my surprise team, I think is going to be the Atlanta Falcons. I think they're going to have a pretty good season this year.
Yeah, I think the team that is that's going to be down from last year is, I know Kelly don't want to hear it, but I think Washington. Everything went right for Washington. A lot of the games you looked at, like you said, year 2 with a quarterback, sometimes there's a little bit of transition. I think they're really excited about Debo. Debo hasn't been Debo in like 4 years. He had 1 year, and he's still living off that 1 year. He's always hurt, always has problems. I don't know if their offense is going to be as potent as what people think. I like McLaurin. I think he's good. Their defense, I don't think they addressed their run defense. Their run defense was worse in Dallas, if that makes you realize how bad it was. Their schedule is brutal. I mean, I just don't see Washington being that team that's gonna replicate what they did. Now I'm saying that because I'm going on a Washington ESPN radio show tomorrow, so I wanted to make sure I get my mind right when I say it. So I want to make sure I get it rolling off my tongue good when I piss everybody off tomorrow. But the team that I think is the surprise is, and I hate to say it, I'm not riding on Jimmy here, but I think the Falcons, to Kelly's point, I mean, Bijan I think he's due for a big breakout year. Obviously, we've been talking about Pitts forever, but Penix he's a good quarterback, and I think they've got something going with him, and they've added some stuff. Their defense in the draft, they addressed a lot of needs on defense with edge rushers. That was one of their big problems, Achilles heel. Their division is not very good. I don't think Carolina is going to be any good. The Saints don't have a quarterback. Derek Carr's retired now, so Spencer Rattler, is that going to be their quarterback? Or do they have someone else? I have no idea. Tampa Bay, that's the one I don't know. They're going to be battling it out. They got Igbuka. I mean, they you got the ageless wonder at receiver that they got, Mike Evans. Baker Mayfield's still there. So, but I think Atlanta is going to leapfrog them to like what Kelly said. And I think Atlanta's going to end up winning the South. And I think Washington is good. There's 50% of the teams that don't make the playoffs that were in it the year before. And I think Washington's going to be one of those teams. I'm not saying it because I'm a hater. I'm just saying it because I think it's true.
I look, I could see it. I could see it. I said that I thought, before the Pickens thing, I said that at the order of the NFC, I thought it was the Cowboys, or it was the Eagles, the Cowboys, and then Washington, or the Eagles, Washington, and the Cowboys. After the Pickens thing, I think that leapfrogs us over Washington. I think Washington will finish third, and I think that the Giants will finish fourth. And it's funny because I've had some Washington Commanders fans, but I didn't even know them guys existed on X because they've been so quiet for the past decade or so. But they start chirping a little bit. They start chirping. I had to remind them and say, listen, we were one play, like a play or two away, one play away from sweeping you guys with the worst Cowboys team that we've had in 5 years. I mean, decimated with injuries, playing a backup quarterback. I mean, half of the damn team's on the sideline on crutches, and we damn near swept them son of a bitches. So don't come over here and start acting like, look, you had a great run. You had a magical run to the, with your rookie quarterback. But listen, we've all seen this story play out. We all remember RG3, and, he did something great, his first year, and everybody was, all the Washington fans, we're back, baby, we're back. And then the celebration happened way too soon. And then next thing you know, there was the big fall off, and then Washington fans, we're back to being Washington, and that dump of a stadium with sewer water raining down on their fans. I mean, I don't want to hear nothing from Washington right now. So I could definitely see Washington having a fall off. And not only that, that second year for those rookie quarterbacks has shown to be difficult. How many people thought last year, going off his rookie season, that C.J. Stroud was going to take the next step? They went out and got Stephon Diggs and added him with Nico Collins. Everybody was thinking, oh my God, because you had, they got Tank Dell, they had Nico Collins, they had, you looked at that offense and you thought they had Mixon at running back, and you think to yourself, you thought, damn, that is a prolific offense. C.J. Stroud is going to cook in year 2. And what did he do? He came out and he looked nothing like what he did his rookie season. He struggled mightily the entire year. So, having a great season as a rookie doesn't guarantee you a second follow-up season to be great. That's why they call it the sophomore slump for a reason. It'll be interesting to see a lot of these rookie quarterbacks that had a lot of success in year 1. Can they duplicate it in year 2? It seems to be a lot harder to do that in year 2. So I could absolutely see Washington being that team that falls off and misses the playoffs this year.
Yeah. And Washington gotta get their entertainment when they can get it. I mean, they're in a drought so bad. When they have a good team like they had last year, give them props. They needed it. They ain't been that happy over the Commanders or the Redskins in so long. It's a shame. So they better put it all out there last year, because this year ain't going to be like that. But the only sting that I have about that is that Daniels came in as a rookie quarterback and took him to the NFC Championship game. And every time I think about it, I don't care how bad they sucked this year and how lucky they were the first year. It stings because Dak been in the league, 9 years now? I think going on 10.
Yeah.
And he hasn't gotten to the NFC Championship game. And then Daniels comes in his first season and gets them to the NFC Championship game. That's the big sting for me, because Washington can sit there and say, yeah, we probably would look like trash this year. We had a good season last year, but guess what? Our quarterback as a rookie took us to the NFC Championship his first season. And that's going to always hurt, because I'm like, Dak, you're primed this year. And I mean it. You are primed this year to go so deep in the playoffs that it's pathetic. But you have to be that key that turns everything this year. No matter what we got on the field, no matter everybody we brought in, the coaches and everything, I feel that all that's been plugged in We need to see him in action. But I still feel the driver, the captain, the commander of this ship is Dak. And if Dak plays the best season he's ever played here, then we are going to be phenomenal because everything relies on Dak. Everything relies on Dak. And if Dak is playing his ass off, then maybe we have games we go tit for tat if the defense isn't, but he's playing his ass off. If Dak does what he did last year before his injuries, when I kept saying something's not right about that man, if he does that, now that he's healed, we're going to be in trouble. So I'll be keeping a big eye, a close eye on how Dak not only plays, but how he takes charge of this team because the culture is starting to get there. Now, let me see what Dak does instead of coming out with a script.
Yeah.
Let me see how Dak takes over.
What I would like to see though is because I don't necessarily disagree about Dak playing good, but what I would like to see for once though is that this team not have to put it all on Dak, because look at the season that he had where he was an MVP runner up, and then we go in against Green Bay and we get absolutely smacked around. And what I would love to see is Schottenheimer make things easier and make life easier for Dak Prescott, right? The defense playing well, the whole team functioning as a whole, so that it's not all on Dak Prescott. Because the thing is that, and he could come out and he could prove me wrong, but as of right now, I just don't see Dak as one of them kind of quarterbacks that just puts the team on his back and just carries it. And look, that's hard to do for anybody. There's not very many quarterbacks in the history of the entire NFL that can do that. I mean, you look at guys like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. I mean, they need help. Those are guys that are looked at as a little tier above Dak Prescott. But what happens when their team doesn't play well, right? They don't do well. So what I want to see, what I would really love to see is Schottenheimer just make life easier on Dak Prescott. And I think they're definitely trending and trying to go that way. That's what that number one pick Booker was, making life a little easier on Dak, protection a little bit better from that right side. You can solidify at that left tackle position. Guyton come in and play a little bit better. Just, make life easier on Dak, because I think he can do what's needed to win. The problem is, the thing that I want to see is, we can't have one of them 19-12 games like we did with San Francisco, where Dak only comes out and that offense only puts up 12 points. Yep. We can't have something like that. You know what I mean? When the defense comes out and holds a team to 19 points in the playoffs, you got to be able to put up 21, right? Yep. That's what we need to see, is that when this team is playing as a cohesive unit, that Dak needs to not be turning the ball over, right? So that's what I want to see. But hey, look, I've got faith in him. I'm rocking the number 4. I still got faith that he can get this thing done. It's just going to take a collective team effort. And hey, maybe 2025 is the year. One can only hope, but we take that first step here in a few months when we go to take on Philly Thursday Night Football. And I mean, I couldn't be more excited to get this season underway.
Yeah. And I just, anyway, it's balance. I mean, Dak is best when, you have balance on the offense, running the football. He's a great play action quarterback. You've got the weapons. They got to be a running football team. That's why I think the running back, the triple-headed monster that they've got right now, I think can get the job done. They're bruisers. You got speed. You got everything. And, running the ball a bunch, that's what it's going to take. And then let Dak just kill him with Pickens, kill him with CD. Don't leave out Ferguson. Hopefully he'll be back. But they showed an interesting thing. They've got so many guys that have 50 plus catches. I mean, Javonte Williams had 50 plus catches. Blue's a receiver out of the backfield. Moffa's a receiver out of the backfield. Obviously got Ferguson. I mean, they've got guys, and don't forget about Turpin. I mean,
and Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is
going to be an odd guy out. I don't know which. I think Miles might be the odd guy out in that group, but I don't know. But I mean, we'll see. Maybe it's Moffa. Maybe they go with 3 different styles instead of Moffa and Javonte are pretty similar in their style. Maybe they'd go with Sanders and Williams and put Moffa on the practice squad and hope a team doesn't scoop them up. But it'll be interesting to see. But we got a lot to talk about with that, because we're getting. This is now the season that started. Now we look at the schedule, we look at the dates. We've been hanging here for 2 hours. We got 520 of you guys hanging in the cave. We definitely appreciate the love. We appreciate even more love if you hit that subscribe. I told Kelly this. 5,000 people, new people, have stopped by the Cowboys cave over the past, I don't know, a week or two. 5,000 new people that aren't that are new people. Now, not all of them subscribe, because if they did, we'd be hitting that for 5,000 mark. We'd be well over it, and we'd be giving away 2 of these tickets. You guys are running out of time. We get to 5,000. I'm going to give away 2 seats, 2 of my club seats, to 1 lucky person. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to the Packers game. I'm going to the what other game? The Packers game's the only thing on my schedule right now. So I'm only going to the Packers. I'm only kidding. There'll be a couple other games that I'm going to. I think I'm going to the Vikings Sunday night. But the Eagles, I don't know if I'm going to. The Giants, I'm not going to for sure. The Chargers, I'm not going to. So there are good games. We have a great home schedule that you guys would be able to go to a great football game to see your Dallas Cowboys and see them in style. And hopefully you say, hey, Mike, I'll give you the other tickets so you can go too. Or maybe Kelly, or maybe even Greg. But you guys will have that choice. But we got to get to 5,000. We're creeping up on 4,100. And we did that within a couple of weeks. We got 100 new subscribers. We need to get up to 5,000, and that's what you got to do. So,
well, I got you a subscriber in Birmingham yesterday.
Very good. Thank you.
I went to a graduation party yesterday, right across the street from my mom's, a friend of the family. His wife was graduating. As soon as I walked in, everybody sitting there, one guy in dress clothes, Cowboys hat. So I had to sit there and talk with him. And then I showed him my page, and I showed him Cowboys Cave, and I said, hit subscribe. You don't have to pay anything. So he subscribed last night.
Awesome.
But one player that we never even talked about today that I'm sure Shotty's going to have some kind of package for him, some way, trick gadgetry, is Joe Milton. We got him on the sideline. We got him. So there's going to be probably some packages for him, not necessarily going there and back up Dak as the backup quarterback a lot, but I'm sure there's going to be some packages for him, and we might use them like they use Taysom in the Saints. Hill at the Saints. You never know. We got that asset too. See, a lot of people aren't talking about Milton, but we got that asset on the sideline.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So we got a lot to talk about. This season is just now, it's official. Now we're pumped up. So you guys, we're going to be dropping our videos, obviously our live shows are running. We're going to start heating up some guests. I think the first one we're going to have on maybe either next week or the week after. I just got to check with him. We're going to bring Big Nasty in because we got a nasty offensive line, and we're getting that running game going. So we want to bring in an expert in the field. So we're going to bring in Kevin Gogan, get him back in the cave. So we'll get things started on the right foot and get us rolling. And then we got a few other guests that we're working on as well. So definitely this off season, during the slow time, during the summer times, we'll be filling the airwaves. So hit that subscribe, hit the like on your way out. Appreciate you supporting the cave. I will give you guys last quick words to wrap it up. Greg, what do you give us some quick words of wisdom with the schedule? What do you got? Go ahead.
The schedule is competitive, which I like, because if we're going to do something, we need to play the best to see how good we are. So I like it. I saw, because of all the transactions I saw with a lot of these teams we're playing, coaches moving, players moving, they are vulnerable for us to go in there and beat them. And they will not be, most of them won't be the juggernauts like they were last year. So I'm glad that we have what we got this season. Free agency, that secret code situation, free agency pickup that Jerry Jones did with Pickens. I like the fact that we're deep on offensive line now. We're deep on that defensive line. Believe it or not, we got an edge rusher. Overshown should be back maybe game 8 or game 9. I'm still iffy on Diggs because I don't know where his head is at. And the cornerbacks, I don't know how we're going to do back there. But with Dak, with Joe Milton on the sideline, with the packages, with Shotty moving people in the locker room where they need to, the culture shift, and Pickens coming there ready to play and humble. And then the only thing I'm concerned about, and like I said, pray tell, we don't have any injuries during training camp, so we can put a full squad out there. But we are in the best situation to go out there and win 11 games and go further from that, because everything is lining up for the Cowboys now. Everybody hear it every year. But this year, everything is lining up. Bookends on wide receiver, bookends on defensive edge. We got plenty of offensive linemen, and we got some big boys to plug the holes. It's just and running back. So it's just a matter of time to get them on the field, see what they do. But the teams that thought we're bringing the same team we brought last year, they better be awake because this is something different.
Be ready. Be ready. Kelly, what you thinking? Final words.
First of all, just want to tell Sam, thanks for getting in. I popped your comment on there, but thanks for subscribing. Welcome to the show, man. He said he felt like he found his home. Hey, man, we're proud for you to call this your home, man. Come on every week and check it out.
So this is definitely a home.
He does not like the Eagles. I hate the Eagles. In fact, my favorite four-letter word is a word that I use to say about the Eagles. But listen, he did mention, I saw one of his comments, he said, should my first game be going to, should I go to Philly? I don't know that I would suggest maybe your first game, Cowboys game ever going to Philly, but to hell with it, man. If you go in there, keep your head held high and have somebody to watch your six. Anyway, I just want to thank everybody for coming into the show, man. I can't wait for the season to start, to kick off, man. It's going to be great having the Cowboys Cave tailgate. Looking forward to seeing everybody getting together, doing what we do, and celebrating and doing it big. So thank you, everybody, for coming in. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Continue to tune in and support the show. Great things coming. Great things still to come. Great interviews, great shows, and hopefully a great season to follow. Everything's in front of us. Like I said, go and take it now, Cowboys. Go and take it.
Yeah. And I would just say this, appreciate everyone who subscribed. Appreciate all. I mean, this is a big, happy family, man. That's what I consider it. And it's always good doing these shows. But I want to say, Gary, 1000%, if Doug and his family are inviting your boy Mike Tag to Carolina for our 3rd annual Carolina Road Show, I'm going to be there. So as long as the invitation is open, I will be there. Looking forward to it. It's a lot of fun. So we'll be out in Carolina and hopefully hit some other games. But like I said, I'm happy with the schedule. This gets my blood, gets the blood flowing because now it's for real. So appreciate everything. You guys, thanks for all the support. We'll be seeing you. Peace out. Enjoy it and go Cowboys.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.